Hello and welcome to my video today. We're going to talk about how taking or doing something that leads to huge increases in dopamine can actually lead to a drop in your baseline, making you feel lousy. Many people make the mistake of pursuing the dopamine-evoking activity or substance, mistakenly thinking it will bring up their baseline and give them that peak again. But not only does it not give them a peak, their baseline actually gets lower and lower because they're depleting dopamine more and more. So how can we engage with these dopamine-evoking activities in ways that are healthy and beneficial for us? How do we achieve these peaks, which are so central to our well-being and experience of life, without dropping our baseline? Well, the key lies in intermittent release of dopamine. The real key is to not expect or chase high levels of dopamine release every time we engage in these activities. Intermittent reward schedules are the central schedule by which elusive partners or potential partners keep you texting and pursuing. Intermittent schedules are the way that the internet, social media, and all highly engaging activities keep you motivated and pursuing. We can take this back to our evolutionary adaptive scenario, where you are out there looking for water and food. Not every trail, not every pursuit, not every hunch about where the animals will be or where the berries will be plays out. There's something called dopamine reward prediction error. When we expect something to happen, we are highly motivated to pursue it. If it happens, great, we get the reward. The reward comes in various chemical forms, including dopamine, and we are more likely to engage in that behavior again. This is the basis of casino gambling. This is how they keep you going back again and again and again, even though on average the house really does win. So, what would this look like in a practical sense? Let's say you are somebody who really enjoys exercise. You might think it's great to layer together all the things that you love to get the optimal workout, listening to your favorite music, having your pre-workout drink, etc. But by getting a big peak in dopamine, you're actually increasing the number of conditions required to achieve pleasure from that activity again. So, there is a version of this where sometimes you don't do the dopamine-enhancing activities, you just do the exercise. Now, the key thing is to make sure that the peak in dopamine doesn't occur too often. And if something does occur very often, you vary how much dopamine you experience with each engagement in that activity. By understanding this relationship between the peaks and the baseline, we can make really good choices in the short run and in the long run to maintain our level of dopamine baseline. In recent years, there's been a trend towards more people doing cold exposure. This can, in fact, increase our levels of dopamine, as well as the neuromodulator norepinephrine. Cold water exposure turns out to be a very potent stimulus for shifting the entire milieu, the entire environment of our brain and body, and allowing many people to feel much better for a substantial period of time after getting out of the ice bath or cold water of any kind than they did before. Now we explore the dark side of chasing dopamine peaks. While dopamine is often associated with pleasure and reward, constantly seeking out activities that evoke high levels of dopamine release can have serious consequences on our mental and physical health. In this video, we'll discuss how this can lead to addiction and a narrowing of the things that bring us pleasure. But don't worry, we'll also provide strategies for how to engage in these activities in moderation. First is the role of dopamine. Before we dive into the dark side of dopamine, let's quickly review its role in the brain. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a key role in motivation, reward, and pleasure. When we engage in activities that we enjoy, dopamine is released in our brains, giving us a sense of satisfaction and pleasure. Second is the risks of chasing dopamine peaks. While dopamine release can be a positive thing, constantly chasing dopamine peaks can have serious consequences. Engaging in activities that evoke high levels of dopamine release, such as drugs, alcohol, gambling, and even social media, can lead to addiction. This is because our brains become accustomed to the high levels of dopamine, and we need more and more of the activity or substance to feel the same level of pleasure. Over time, this can lead to a narrowing of the things that bring us pleasure, and we may find that we only enjoy the activities that evoke high levels of dopamine release. Third is how to engage in activities in moderation. So how can we enjoy activities that evoke dopamine release without risking addiction? The key is moderation. Instead of constantly seeking out dopamine peaks, we should strive to engage in these activities in moderation. For example, if you enjoy playing video games, try limiting your playing time to a few hours a week rather than spending all your free time gaming. Similarly, if you enjoy drinking alcohol, try limiting your intake to 1 or 2 drinks per week rather than binge drinking on the weekends. Fourth is the benefits of moderation. By engaging in activities in moderation, we can avoid the risks of addiction and enjoy a wider range of activities that bring us pleasure. We can also maintain healthy levels of dopamine in our brains, which is important for our mental and physical health. In fact, studies have shown that maintaining a healthy baseline level of dopamine can improve our mood, boost our immune system, and even improve our cognitive function. So, there you have it. While dopamine release can be a positive thing, constantly seeking out dopamine peaks can have serious consequences on our mental and physical health. Now, in the last part, we're going to talk about how to balance activities that evoke dopamine release with healthy habits. Dopamine is a powerful neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in our motivation, pleasure, and reward-seeking behaviors. However, excessive engagement in activities that evoke dopamine release can deplete our baseline levels and lead to addiction and other negative consequences. So how can we enjoy these activities without compromising our health and well-being? Here are some tips for balancing dopamine release with healthy habits. Tip 1. Focus on whole foods. Eating a balanced diet with whole foods can help to maintain healthy levels of dopamine. This includes foods like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins. Avoiding processed foods and sugary snacks can help to reduce the risk of addiction and overeating. Tip 2. Exercise regularly. Exercise is a natural way to increase dopamine release and maintain a healthy baseline level. Regular exercise can also help to reduce stress and improve overall well-being. Try to incorporate exercise into your daily routine, such as going for a walk, taking a yoga class, or hitting the gym. Tip 3. Find healthy alternatives. Instead of engaging in activities that evoke high levels of dopamine release, try to find healthy alternatives that still bring you pleasure. This could include things like reading a book, spending time with loved ones, or taking up a new hobby. Tip 4. Use intermittent reward schedules. Instead of constantly seeking out activities that evoke high levels of dopamine release, try using intermittent reward schedules. This means rewarding yourself for achieving a goal or engaging in a healthy behavior, but not every time. This can help to maintain motivation without compromising your baseline levels of dopamine. Tip 5. Practice mindfulness. Practicing mindfulness can help to reduce stress and increase self-awareness. This can also help to prevent excessive engagement in activities that evoke dopamine release. Try practicing mindfulness techniques such as meditation, deep breathing, or yoga. So, there you have it. These are just a few tips for balancing dopamine release with healthy habits. Remember, it's important to enjoy life and engage in activities that bring us pleasure, but it's also important to maintain a healthy balance. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tips and advice on health and well-being.